Ladies and gentlemen, I just finished watching The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, episode 2, and naturally, this episode had a tough act to follow. Episode 1 of The Ones Who Live is arguably the best episode in the Walking Dead universe, period. So, it's easy to say that this one definitely had a bit of a job if it wanted to maintain that sort of stature. And I think it did for the most part. If I'm going to give like a quick TLDR of this video, I think this episode was not as good as episode 1, but it was still an awesome episode. So I don't have any complaints, really like serious. There is some stuff that we're going to get into in this video that I wasn't that big of a fan of, but I don't know if they're complaints necessarily. So let's just jump right into all of it. First things first, this episode immediately picks up Michonne's story, similar to what they did with Rick's story in episode 1. They did the exact same sort of storytelling here, where we got to see what happened leading up to Michonne finding Rick. And because this was her backstory and because of what we got in season 10 with her exit, there's a lot we already knew. First off, we already knew King Batch was in the story somehow. So naturally, we pick up where that left off, and it starts out in what I think is a really interesting way. It's Michonne talking into the camera, just like literally like breaking the fourth wall, like, my name's Michonne.
My name is Michonne.
And it's, I don't know. That for some reason was just very cheesy to me. And I know, like, obviously when it cuts away, it's her talking to a woman about getting a horse. But I don't know. Something about that felt like an interrogation from a Marvel movie or something. And honestly, that whole conversation to me was just a little goofy. Like, they make Michonne out to be kind of a superhero in the very beginning, where she's like, I don't leave people behind. And like all that stuff. It's like, all right, this is a zombie show. You know what I mean? Well, it's a show about people, but this is a show with zombies and all that stuff. Whatever. It's like, no, you don't got to take yourself like a superhero here. Come on. But I get it. Michonne and Rick are supposed to be all badass and all of that stuff, but I don't know. I think that started off the episode in a little bit funky of a direction. And then from there was just some things with the pacing that I wasn't too fond of. Like Nat coming into the story, he just comes right in, immediately befriends Michonne with the horse and the whole thing. And obviously, I know, like, sometimes in real life, when you meet someone, it's kind of like that, where you befriend them quickly and all that. But this, it just felt a little too quick. It really did. Essentially, he befriends Michonne and says, like, he'll give her a horse and all of that stuff because she saved King Batch and King Batch's wife, the redhead wife. I don't know her name, but whatever. So obviously we get that continuation, and in what was inevitably just a sleepover, Nat, Michonne, King Batch, and all those people just become best friends. Whatever. They're talking, they're chatting. Michonne gets on her horse and gets on her, like, football armor or whatever the hell it was, and she rides off into the sunset. And of course, this is another thing that I had a bit of problems with. When she leaves, she goes to this big horde of walkers, which I thought that was like goofy, the zombie migration thing. It was a little cheesy, but I don't know. Then she gets to that horde and then she shoots the gun, and the gun just like is like a thumper from Call of Duty. It just blows up a ton of walkers. And you see in the distance when she shoots the thing, the explosion was huge. And then all the walkers go flying and all of that stuff. And in my head, I was like, okay, well, if they did that in this episode, what happened in the last episode with Okafor, where it was just him blowing up? And then, I don't know, it didn't make sense. And I know Nat tried to explain it later, like, oh, it was a dud. But even if it was a dud, it still had the power to explode a human in the prior episode, but just no one around. I thought that was a little goofy writing. Like, I feel like they could have done that a little differently. And then, of course, who comes to save the day? By the way, bringing this back in, Nat and his group are there to set off purple explosions on either direction to part the Red Sea. So Michonne and them, they all buddy up and team up and they leave. And I don't know, that's honestly majority of where my problem lied with the episode, was that setup. It felt so forced and so quick. But again, I still like, I'm not really looking at it as that much of a complaint because, like I've said, even in the first episode, they had a lot to do with 6 episodes. So you have to, expedite your storytelling a little bit. And quite frankly, I don't think any of us care as much about Michonne as we do Rick. Not to say that Michonne's like a bad character. I love Michonne. She's one of my favorite characters in the Walking Dead universe. It's just naturally, because of everything that's happened and because Rick is the main character, we naturally want to see him more than we ever want to do Michonne. So majority of my problems with this episode lied in that thing and those beginning sort of dilemmas that I worked out already. Those are my real problems with the episode. But once you get past it, I really liked what we got. I thought the whole sequence with the chlorine gas thing was awesome. It was something I loved in the show. In seeing this in the Walking Dead universe, I thought it was pretty cool. And the idea of chlorine gas is pretty crazy. I don't know why. That just really messed with me when I was watching it. Just, oh man. But of course, because of the chlorine gas, we saw the death of like every character except for Nat and Michonne pretty much. And I know there was like another guy on the oxygen later, but like, we saw just those two be the ones to survive. Of course, everyone, our group in The Walking Dead, everyone we encounter dies when like Michonne, Rick, Daryl, Carol, whenever they encounter people, the other people are fucked. And that's exactly what this was. King Batch croaked. They all croaked. It was pretty crazy, but I did like that whole sequence, and I like what it did for the story, and I like how they showed how much time was spent where they were holed in that, I guess it was a mall or a department store, where they were just trying to get better from the chlorine gas. I really liked that. I felt like for that being as rushed as it was believable and made me understand the bond that Nat and Michonne have. And while that was all very quick in the episode, it was nice to see. At least they kind of made it seem a little more believable than they did in the beginning. But of course, once Michonne and Nat are up and healthy after a while of just sitting in the room, they are finally out on the road, which I didn't get. I will say it went from 6 years after the bridge to now. So I'm assuming, because the now shot was them walking and that's when the helicopter thing happened. But I'm assuming they spent like 3 years? How long has it been? Because it was 6 years after the bridge, and then they stayed for a while. Wasn't it supposed to be like 9 years or something? So did they stay in that place for 3 years? I don't know. I thought that part was a little weird. And then when it said now, it was like they were picking up their conversation from what was, I guess, 3 years prior, if that's the case. If anyone wants to clear that up in the comments, let me know. But I did not get that. That one really confused me. And that's where like when Scott Gimple does the storytelling where he jumps around with like then and now and blah, blah, blah. That's when it gets really confusing. I think this was a prime example of it. But again, I don't think it suffered too bad from it because I think all of us are in agreement when we're watching this episode, what we're getting. You know what I mean? We're getting those now and then things. We have to. So I get it, but it was just a little goofy. But anyway, we eventually see the now. Michonne and Nat are walking, and that's when it leads up to the moment with Rick and the whole explosion and the Okafor and all that stuff. And man, I gotta say, I try not to fangirl too much, but when Rick and Michonne reunited, I really fucking liked it. Like, I really, really genuinely did. It's not what I envisioned in the beginning, like before the show aired. It's not what I thought was going to happen with their reunion. And I guess it didn't scratch my mental itch of it, but I loved it. I really did. Like, I'm not saying it's bad, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it was so great. I've seen the scene a ton of times now. I still love it. I think it was just so amazing, both in episode 1 as well as in this episode. I just liked what they did. I liked Michonne's reaction. I felt a little weird about Rick's, but I also understand Rick's reaction too. And I like how there's a bit of hesitation, especially from Michonne, where she's looking at Rick. And I feel like they're going to develop this plot a little bit later, but she's definitely suspecting of Rick being like, well, you've been here 9 years. Why didn't you try? And even though he said he tried and all that stuff, it's been 9 years in the story. So I don't know. I hope they play into that a little bit, but I liked that Michonne, even though she was obviously so excited to see him, I liked that we got that kind of like suspecting side of her. I thought that was really cool. And then I also liked that he asked about Judith, but I'm a little annoyed that he never asked about like anyone else. And I'm sure he's going to in the show, but I feel like this is a problem with the Walking Dead universe in general. When it comes to its spin-offs, they never mention the characters in the other, like in the main show. And I don't understand that. You have amazing characters. You could bring them up. They were a big part of your life. Like she's just, I should say Rick is just like, she's okay. She's okay. Judith okay. But like, no, where's Daryl? How's Daryl? How's blah, blah, blah. It was just very, Judith's okay. Okay. Like, it's not really believable. That's not how humans talk. If you see someone who was part of a big group of yours, naturally, obviously, you're going to ask for your daughter, but then you're also going to ask, and how is Daryl? How is blah, blah, blah? How is who? How is who? Blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, how's the community? It's been 9 years. Is Alexandra even still a thing? Alexandria, I should say, not Alexandra. But you get what I mean? That was, I guess, another thing I thought was a little interesting. And of course, we didn't get a mention of RJ in this episode, but a lot of people online were saying like, oh my God, they didn't even mention RJ. Yeah, but you could see why. Like, if you watch the episode, you understand why. Michonne wants to save that for when they go home and surprise him with the fact that he has a son. Makes perfect sense. I don't think there's anything weird about that or anything like that. But yeah, the reunion was great. And I even like that we got to see Michonne as a consignee. Is that what it is? Whatever, that thing. I like that we're getting that. And I think it's going to raise some interesting things in the next couple episodes. And I really like seeing her as a consignee makes me wonder if Michonne's life is at stake later in the story. I'm not going to go on a whole prediction path thing, but I don't know. I really don't think both of them are making it out of this show. Like, I don't. I really don't. You know, Denai Guerrera is a very busy actress, and you know, even Andrew Lincoln's a very busy actor, and they don't want to be doing this forever. I totally get it. I don't think both of them are making it out alive. I'm interested to see where that goes. And I like where we're starting to see it go with Jadis. At the very end of this episode, Jadis comes in and drops an F-bomb saying, Rick, what the fuck are you doing? I loved that, and I like where that's going to take the story because, look, unlike a lot of people, I've always been a pretty big fan of Jadis. Not like, I would never say she's a favorite character or anything like that, and you know me, I love the comics. I'm a diehard for the comics, but that being said, because of her involvement in the AMC story and her significance in major key things, I like what she brings. Yeah, I don't really like her. Like, you're not supposed to like Jadis that much, but I like what she does to the AMC story, even though I'm not as fond of the AMC story as I am the comic story. You know what I mean? So I like her for that reason, and I like where this could potentially go. I can't wait to see more. But overall, this episode was really good. It was not as good as the first one. This one, I think, suffered a little bit more from pacing issues. I didn't really love the storytelling overall with Nat and his group of friends. Oh, and by the way, yeah, speaking of that, Nat died in this episode. I mean, I think in fairness, his character arc was really solid, and that's what you're supposed to do. When you're writing a show, you're supposed to have a full, like, arc with your character. And I guess in terms of that, it was fulfilled pretty well. So when he died, he did something to help someone, and that was nice. But, oh yeah, he died in this episode. That was crazy. But I did like him, and I really liked his actor. And it's kind of like Okafor. I liked him and his actor a lot, and I like Nat and his actor a lot. I hope we get a little bit more of them as the story goes on, but I don't think we are, but I hope we do. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, this was a very good episode. It still feels amazing. Like, this is definitely the best spinoff so far, period, point blank, period. It's just this one had a tough act to follow from episode 1. Doesn't make it a bad episode or anything like that. I'm really interested to see where we go with the story. I'm liking every bit of it. This one finally felt more like a TV show than a movie, whereas episode 1 felt like a movie. And maybe if that sums up the whole reason I feel it's not as good, that's the case. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't have too much else to talk about with this episode. I liked it, but I'm really excited to see where this story takes us into the next, 4 episodes we have? Can't wait to see what they do. Let me know how you felt about this episode down in the comments. And with all that out of the way, thanks again so much for watching this video. Until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Peace out.